everybody. Welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson,
I'm Tom Hoblett.
and we're going to be breaking down Richmond for this upcoming weekend. Should be a weekend. I mean, I'm not I'm not the
They're
biggest fan
using
of Richmond Raceway.
they're using the Phoenix tire.
Yeah, so
If that we're not getting the Bristol tire. If
yeah, we
that
saw
gives you an idea
how
of
competitive
the
Phoenix
weekend.
was. It made it a little bit more
So
interesting with the
Richmond is a better racetrack than Phoenix.
yeah,
We'll give you
yeah,
that.
but
But
doesn't put on the most exciting racing, but we should see some good strategies come into play with what we've seen from
for sure.
Phoenix. But
For
first
sure.
off, we got the Xfinity Series with the Toyota Care 250, 187 miles, 250 laps. Stages 1 and 2 are 75 laps each, and the final will be 100 laps. Last year's winner was Chandler Smith when he was still with Colleague Racing. Most team wins here is Joe Gibbs Racing with 6. Most manufacturer wins is Chevrolet with 14 wins. Some notables that we got coming into this race, we got Taylor Gray, he'll be in the 19 for Joe Gibbs. Eric Almirola will be in the 20. Corey Heim will be in the 26 for Sam Hunt Racing. And Matt Dibenedetto, he'll be back with 38 of the RSS Racing. And Bubba Pollard will be coming in for an Xfinity race for the 88 for Junior Motorsports. Late model legend driving for Junior Motorsports. The guy is really freaking good, so excited to see him come out here at Richmond Raceway. So Tom, we got some heavy hitters coming into this one. Who you got winning on Saturday at Richmond?
Well, I'm just looking at this entry list, and like you said, there's a lot of people. But my first question is, how does Taylor Gray get the Joe Gibbs ride and Corey Heim stuck in the Sam Hunt ride? That doesn't make too much sense to me. I guess maybe there's more seat time in the 26 in general than the 19 because they're jumping around, but I don't know. I'd be kind of interested to see if Corey Heim could do something in the Joe Gibbs car because like he performs well in the Sam Hunt car for sure, but you just wonder if the top tier team, what we could get out of that guy.
Yeah.
But that's a Toyota thing. That's not my problem. Oh man, you really want to lean a veteran or a Toyota, I guess, for this race and this race weekend in general. It's the spring race that I always feel goes towards Toyotas, but I'm gonna go with a Chevy in the number 2 car, Jesse Love. I just think it feels right for him. This seems to be, he tore it up in the ARCA series. His cars are similar to the ARCA cars, and he's looked really good. He just hasn't been able to really finish up a race and tie it all together. But he's learning week in and week out, and I think this is a good opportunity for him to break out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I gotta go with the 20 car of Eric Almirola. I mean, we talked about it, Joe Gibbs Racing. They have 6 wins here in the spring. They always look good here. It's a Toyota owners, it's Toyota Care 250.
Mm-hmm.
And Eric Almirola is just an established, great driver, especially down here in the Xfinity Series. He knows how to win. He won at New Hampshire, which is a little similar to Richmond Raceway. So yeah, well, it should be exciting to see him run around and maybe pull off the win.
Yeah, for sure. I'm interested to see how Bubba Pollard does. I think the when I would have seen him would be in the SRX series.
Yeah.
I think he ran a couple races as like the local hero when they were still doing that sort of deal, and I'll be interested to see because Richmond should be that style of race in that that could translate very well. We'll keep an eye on Matt Benedetto, just kind of see if he still wants to be relevant. The answer is probably no. But yeah, keep an eye on those Toyotas. I guess Taylor Gray, you don't really know too much about him in the Xfinity series. Sheldon Creed has been a bad bet for most of his career. But Chandler Smith being in the Joe Gibbs car and having won this race last year in a different car, I think we could look out for him too and see him be a real threat to win.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I always want to throw Justin Allgaier in there because I feel like that dude can just pull off a win anywhere. He's just so consistent and so good and knows what to do when he gets in that race car.
Yeah, he's won here in the past. He's really good at these kind of like shorter intermediate tracks. So yeah, I
Yeah,
would give it
for
to him
sure. But
as
those
well. That's a
those are
great
guys
pick.
that I'll be watching specifically
Yeah,
this weekend.
absolutely. All right, so let's move over to Sunday for the Toyota Owners 400, 300-mile race, 400 laps. Stage 1 is 80, stage 2 is 150 laps, and the final will be 165. Most wins for a team here is Joe Gibbs Racing with 10, and Chevrolet has 23 wins as the manufacturer. Um, Kyle Larson won here last year in the spring, and Chris Buescher won last fall. So, Tom, we got a big race here. Toyota didn't win last year. Do you think that they'll be able to come back and win this year?
Toyota won the Clash. Toyota won Bristol. Toyota won Phoenix. Yeah,
Yeah, Christopher
yeah.
Bell won Phoenix.
So I think it'd be silly to not take one of the Joe Gibbs cars. Help maybe throw Reddick and Bubba in there in the top 10
Mm-hmm.
somewhere. Um, I don't know if Bubba or Reddick are going to come out and win this race, but I am going to go with the outright points leader right now, which is Martin Truex Jr. Yeah, he doesn't have wins yet, and I know those guys get shoved above. But if you just look at straight up points, Martin Truex Jr. is doing what he does best and turning out good races and consistent races. And this, I mean, he's won here in the past, right? Martin has. And this type of
Yes.
race, this type of race, this type of racetrack with the Phoenix tire screams Martin Truex Jr. We're going to see him pull out into the front and lead most of the race and win by 6.5 seconds. Like that's just kind of what I'm feeling. We're going to see a dominant Martin Truex win.
Yeah, that's not a bad pick at all, man. So for my pick to win on Sunday, I'm going on a limb here. I am going with the guy that is due for a win. I'm going with the six car of Brad Keselowski. Rough race at Circuit of the Americas last week. We saw that 17 car to go to victory lane last year in the fall. I think this is a good track for this team. Brad Keselowski's due. He's been close. He's been looking like he's going to be getting a win soon. So finally, he's going to break that 103, 4 race winless streak that he's got going on right now. And yeah, that'd be just awesome to see him doing burnouts with the American flag again.
Awesome is a strong word. Um, I mean, good for him to break a winning streak if he does it. You never want
We
to
know
see
how
these
you
guys
feel
get
about
so down
Brad.
on this.
It's okay.
Yeah, well, I didn't go on a tiny rant in the last episode. Um, no, yeah, I think that's a great pick. Honestly, yeah, you just the Fords have really been lacking. I mean, other than Ryan Blaney, who's the Ryan Blaney's third in points. Who's the next Ford? Chris Buescher in 12th, right?
Hmm.
Am I reading that right? So like you just wonder about the Ford performance this season. And again, that's kind of what Ford does. They start slow and they catch up and then pass everybody at the end of the season, which if you're trying to win championships in this format, that's kind of what you want to do. But they ran really well here in the fall. Did they finish 1-2? Why do
Uh,
I think they finished 1-2? Because they were always finishing right next to each other. Maybe it wasn't
that
1-2.
that was at Daytona when Busher
Mm-hmm.
won.
But I mean, last season Buscher and Keselowski were always really close. If one missed, they both missed. If one hit, they both hit.
Hmm.
So I don't hate that pick at all. Um, Other than the fact that I haven't seen anything to like about a Ford this year for the full
Yeah.
portion of the race. I've seen little bits and stuff like Josh Berry winning the pole at Bristol was really cool and good and surprise. Noah Gregson, big surprise being running as well as he has been through this part of the season. Um, so yeah, good for Brad. I would definitely. I was gonna say if you told me you were gonna surprise me with your pick, so I was like, who's he gonna pick? Who's he gonna pick? And if you didn't pick one of the RFK guys, I was going to say like keep an eye on those guys because they did run so well in the fall. They
Hmm.
could be threats, but again, I'm still wary about the Fords, but we all know the one driver who's going to trounce the field is Ty Dillon. So yeah, no,
that's the bold pick.
And another team I'm curious to see how they do here. Not saying they're going to set the world on fire, but I'm curious about the Legacy Motor Club cars and just see where they're at compared to the Gibbs and the Toyotas and whatnot, because they are supposedly a premier Toyota partner.
Yep.
And Toyota's been tearing it up, but it's really just been the Gibbs cars, followed by the 2311 cars. And then where's Legacy sitting in points? John Hunter Nemechek sitting 15th. Eric is sitting 21st. So we got some catching up to do.
They've showed a little bit of speed throughout these races.
Right. I mean, John Hunter Nemechek is ahead of Bubba in points.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just, I'm curious. It's one of those things. It's like, I wonder what Legacy's going to do. You got a race called the Toyota Owners. I want to look at all the Toyotas, and all these cars are supposed to be competitive, especially now that they're all TRD sanctioned teams.
Right.
So that's probably who I'm going to be watching a lot of the races. I'm going to watch for RFK. I'm going to watch for Legacy as we see Ty Gibbs lead most of the laps, and then Martin Truex run away with it at the end. That's my prediction. That's my prediction for the race.
Yeah,
you can sign
I see it
and stamp it and send it.
Yep. I will say I do not like Ty Gibbs one bit, but that kid is fast. He's a hell of a driver, and he's going to get a win here pretty damn soon.
He's going to win soon, and he's probably going to win 3 times this year.
Yep. And when he wins...
And go to the round of 8.
Yeah. When he wins, I think he's just going to start popping them off. It's just like how it was when he was in the Xfinity Series.
I am not excited to be a Kyle Busch fan this weekend based off of how Phoenix ran. Who knows if we'll even get to the race on our flow chart, where we may just sit here in the garage, and might be better for us to not pull out, start and park it.
Yep. The honeymoon phase is over for Kyle Busch.
We're coming off a top 10 finish, and maybe they learned some things at Phoenix that can translate. Please.
Kyle's just learning. Well. Kyle's just learning why Kevin left over 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. But this is also a track we've been seeing a lot of guys get in trouble in the pits. And this is a track where pit strategy is going to matter and whatnot.
Yeah.
For it being it's a 3/4 mile short track, but they get spread out enough where we're probably not going to see too many cautions. That means green flag pit stops, and we'll be splitting stages in 2 bits or 3 bits, and it's another strategy race.
Yep.
For the most part. So.
Yep, the strategies makes the boring race a good race. At least we get to watch out for that and see who comes in the victory lane, what strategy works out.
For sure. And listen, we'll be watching. If you don't want to watch it because you may not like Richmond, we'll tell you all about it next week. So I enjoy watching it, even if they're done. You know, when I look back on most of the times I'm doing Jeff Gluck's poll on Twitter, I vote yes basically every time. Because I'm like, a lot of times it's like, well, it's not a bad race. Just because it's not good.
Yeah, so, very true.
I don't know. I guess I'm a bit of a softy for that, and I'm an optimist. Like, this race was good because this one good thing happened.
Right. Yeah, it's different for everybody. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for tuning into the Stock Car Spectacle. If you haven't yet, make sure to check out our COTA review from the past few days. We get to talk about that exciting race, and make sure to check us out on Twitter, Instagram, and our merch link is down below. That'll do it for us. I'm Ian Jortson.
Tom Hoblin.
And we'll see you guys next time. Enjoy Richmond.